Hello to our other international guests as well, and guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Melinda Crane, and I would like to welcome you here warmly to our fifth part of the Federal Agency for Civic Education on What's Up America. Our title tonight is Born in the United States, What is Left of the Myth? And the United States in an Identity Crisis. And I'm Christoph von Marschall, and it's a pleasure for me to accompany you through this evening together with Melinda Crane. We want to cast a glance at the United States. Polls have shown that there is a big potential for protest, both on the left-hand side and on the right side of the political range. De pluridus unum, that is printed on the American dollar and the American coins. This is part of the founding myth of the United States, to form out of the many races, ethnic groups and religions, to form one country, one people out of them. But this year, it seems that the differences are more obvious to the Americans, more obvious than those things that they have in common. And I must say, in Europe, we too have to learn our lesson with regard to e pluribus unum, that this is not a convincing slogan for everybody, for example, for the Brits. Well, but back to the Americans. Immediately after the attacks in Orlando, there was a conflict of definition for 49% of the people. This was a hate attack on lesbians and gays, and for others, this was an Islamic attack and a proof that stricter weapons gun laws are necessary for the United States, and that fewer immigrants should be allowed to leave be allowed to go into the country. So de pluribus unum, does this still apply? Does the American dream fulfill what it promises? And we want to approach answers from three perspectives. We have an Afro-American performance artist, a Jewish-American author, and a commentator on one of the big American newspapers. And as you found out, our guests will speak English, so instead you need a translation. So there are headsets available. Some of you have already headsets, and if some of you still need some headsets, so please, you can get them here at the entrance. But first of all, I would like to pass on the floor to our host, that is Thomas Krüger, the head of the Federal Agency for Civic Education. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moderators and guests, I would like to warmly welcome you here. Well, that in particular, and would like to thank you that despite this weather and this sunshine outside and the heat, that you've come here to this event of our series, What's Up America. Well, we are tempted to speak about What's Up Britain, but tonight is part of a whole series of talks about What's Up America. After the horrific events of Orlando, the political debate in the United States has become ever more polarized. The excesses of the American primaries underline once again how the political culture of the United States has moved away from the consensus that was underlined for such a long time. What is happening with the Americans? How do the Americans tick? And what are the perspectives for the transatlantic relationship following that? It is our objective to shed light on the context of certain social processes and political developments in the country, of contradictions and controversies, but also to shed some light on innovations and attractions. Well, everybody can make it there out of his or her own focus. This was the belief, the myth of the United States of America. The fact that origin, gender, color of skin, religion does not play a role for success, and that the chances for participation in the pursuit of happiness are the same for everybody, and that it is because of this dream that the United States also are called the land of unlimited opportunities. Well, this aura has gone lost for many people, and in particular for the Europeans, it is very difficult to understand the deep trenches and the inequalities of today's American society, whether they are real or only perceived. and they are viewed critically by Europeans. Many Germans have an ambiguous position with regard to the United States. On the one hand side, it's characterized by fascination, gratitude, and respect, but on the other side, also by a lack of understanding, lack of confidence, and alienation. In times of the times where the United States were an absolute role model are over, and now there's a constant well, this time is over. So the image of the United States is generated from a mixture of old stereotypes, exaggerated myth, and good or bad stories about the fulfillment of the American dream. Tonight, following the tradition of civic education, we want to ask what is left of this myth and whether the United States are going through an identity crisis. There are lots of indicators that point to that, and I'm very pleased that we have the opportunity to shed some light on these questions from different angles. With Echo Brown and Deborah Feldman, we were able to have two artists here who will present their view from a completely different personal biographic experience, both with art and with the language of literature. They have found a medium in order to draw the attention to the contradictions and the extremes of heterogeneous and polarized American society. Deborah Feldman, who for some time has been living in Berlin, can also express her view out of some distance and against the backdrop of her German and European experience. And the journalist Charles Lane will present an analysis of the current state of the American society and politics. And therefore, I'm sure that we will have a stimulating and also controversial evening tonight. After our discussion, we will also be able to enjoy some culture and music, namely a very American music style will be presented here, namely the blues, and the band the Lord Bishop Rocks will play. And last but not least, we also want to thank the host of this building here, the House of Art and Culture of the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, namely Director Mark Donfried and his team for the uncomplicated cooperation. And I also want to thank the Lab Concepts Agency and also my team of the Federal Agency for Civic Education for organizing this evening. So thank you for having come, and I would like to wish you a stimulating and exciting evening.